Gently close your eyes. Do deep breathing. We'll chant Om once together. Synchronize the chanting of Om with your exhalation. Breathe in. Sahana vavatu, sahanau bhunaktu, sahaviryam karavavahai, tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Gently open your eyes. We'll chant from verses 61 to 65 of chapter 2. Tani sarvani sanyamya,
Tani sarvani sanyamya,
yukta asita matparaha,
Yukta asita matparaha,
vashe hi yasyendriyani,
Vashe hi yasyendriyani,
tasya prajna pratisthita,
Tasya prajna pratisthita,
dhyayato vishayan pumsaha,
Dhyayato vishayan pumsaha,
Sangasteshu pajayate,
Sangasteshu pajayate,
Sangat sanjayate kamaha,
Sangat sanjayate kamaha,
Kamat krodho bhijayate,
Kamat krodho bhijayate,
Krodhat bhavati sammohaha,
Krodhat bhavati sammohaha,
Sammohat smriti vibhramaha,
Sammohat smriti vibhramaha,
Smriti bhramshat buddhinashaha,
Smriti bhramshat buddhinashaha,
Buddhinashat pranashyati,
Buddhinashat pranashyati,
Ragadvesha vimuktaistu,
Ragadvesha vimuktaistu,
Vishayanindriyaischaran,
Vishayanindriyaischaran,
Atmavasyairvidheyatma,
Atmavasyairvidheyatma,
Prasadamadigacchati,
Prasadamadigacchati,
Prasade sarvadukhanam,
Prasade sarvadukhanam,
Hanirasyopajayate,
Hanirasyopajayate,
Prasannachetaso hyashu,
प्रसन्नचेतसो यासु
बुद्धिः पर्यवतिष्ठते
बुद्धिः पर्यवतिष्ठते.
Hari Om, and a very good day to all of you. So we are on verse 62. Last week we just started this, where he's explaining the process of ladder of fall, how exactly you lose control over yourself. This is a very subtle portion. See, whenever you read these verses, what you need to do is to see these things like a picture happening within you. This is a principle which we use in the yogic approach. When you just have a mere intellectual approach, what you'll do is you'll read it as a concept. So remember, when we are saying a human being, you should understand it as yourself. When we are talking of the mind slowly losing itself, we are talking of your mind, not per se the study of mind. This is a very important principle. So one of the best ways is to practice this visualization. You can visualize what is happening within you. Incidentally, in the advanced programs like what we are going to have this December, the 22-day program, and even in the future, I will be making you practice this yogic approach in a very deep way. And I'll be awakening the power of visualization more and more. And when the right time comes, when we learn the science of materialization, these small tips which I am giving you will be of great use to you. So when he says, Dhyayato Vishayan Pumsaha, a human being, not some human being, but you. So when you think on sense, when you think about sense objects, Dhyayato Vishayan, this is what we saw. The amazing combination of Dhyayato and Vishayan is what I explained to you last week. So Vishayan means, Vishayaha, Vishayan is plural, it means the general definition is sense objects. So why is it that your mind develops thoughts towards any object? So dhyayato means the uncontrolled thoughts. Your thoughts without any awareness start running towards an object. Why? So the first thing which we saw was the serious thinking about something because you want some information. That is where we get a clue, because the word Vishayaha means information. So those things which provide information to you, your thoughts automatically run towards that object. So this is the exploratory nature which is inherently present in a human being. That's why the word pumsaha, I kept telling you, it's very important. One is, of course, to understand your potential. The other is, if you see this word which is using dhyato, with respect to a human being, it fits in better. See, an animal does not have this exploratory nature. How do we say it is inherent in a human being? See, even as a small child, you must have noticed every child, what does he or she do? He tries to explore and find out things. Anything you give it to a child, a baby, what does a baby do? Immediately he or she takes and puts that object in the mouth. The mouth becomes a laboratory. And as the child starts growing, what it does is, it will go and touch the surface, touch the wall surface, what is hard, what is soft, all those things, it's exploring and learning. And you must have noticed many children, they will stand with support and then they will go on banging their heads on the walls. Recently also, a mother has sent a mail to me saying that every time I see my child banging his head on the wall, I get frightened. There is nothing to be afraid. What the child is doing is, again, exploring to feel the hardness. The baby knows. The baby will never go and hit itself so much that that will cause too much of pain. Very, very interesting. So this is an inborn quality, the tendency to explore. And that is very required, because at a higher level, it is the same tendency to explore the world. When you direct it towards higher, it becomes a force called mumukshatva. Mumukshatva means an intense desire to get enlightened, an intense desire to get liberated and become one with the infinite. So in spirituality, especially in the yogic approach, we encourage this tendency of exploration. Because you need a lot of courage to explore what is beyond this world, what is that infinite. Every sadhak has this mumukshatva. If you didn't have this exploratory nature, you will not be sitting and watching this. Very interesting. So when you are aware, you will use this exploratory nature for good purposes. But when there is no awareness, then the thoughts will run on their own, and you will start picking up information which actually can be harmful to you. So that's what dhyato vishayan. First. The second dimension of dhyato was casual thinking. So whenever you feel bored, then the mind immediately generates thoughts towards the vishayan, sense objects. Again, the mind will start running. And at that point of time, it may be casual, but it can really, really get you into trouble if you're not careful. Because most of the destructive habits start off with casual thoughts. And then the third dimension which I was explaining to you was calling to mind, recalling. So whenever you contact any object, that object gives you pleasure or pain. Based on the intensity of pleasure or pain, after the experience is over, the mind keeps on running towards the object. That is why you see in throughout the Bhagavad Gita and all the other scriptures, they will always put pleasure and pain together, attachment and aversion together, and they'll say you as a yogi, you will have to rise above both. Per se, there is nothing wrong with pleasure or pain, because ultimately, whatever pleasure you get, that is whatever you experience, whatever pain you experience, they will actually teach you so much in life. But when the mind runs on its own and then experiences pleasure or pain, then the very process is not under your control. So after the experience is over, again the mind will start running towards the object. So when the pleasure is very intense and you have finished that experience, that excitement, what we mean by pleasure is excitement. Pleasure should not be confused with happiness, peace which you feel. So it's a state of stress only, you're highly excited. Most people think excitement is happiness. So they just jump with excitement without any control. But true happiness actually reduces your stress and fills you with a lot of peace. So that then after the experience, the mind starts running. If an experience is very painful, then also the mind will start running towards that experience. So that is dhyayato vishaya. So when your mind starts running to the objects on its own, now what happens? The second step, sangasteshu upajayate means something is born. Jayate means born or produced. So what is born? What is produced? He says, sangahateshu, attachment for the objects. Beautiful word is using, sangaha. We will see, because that has a lot of sadhana tips. Every step which he is covering here is going to be extremely useful to you to, on one hand, develop yourself and become and gain complete mastery over yourself. On the other hand, to deal with various issues in life. For example, if you apply the dhyato principle where I said, for information you go towards objects, and if you start using your awareness, and if you start deciding what information you should gain and what information you should avoid, that itself will solve a good percentage of your problems. See, when you come to know about various negative things which are happening, which are not under your control at all, that increases your stress. They say, ignorance is bliss. It's a very, very interesting statement. Many times when you don't know things, life becomes very simple. When you don't know too much about viruses and bacteria, you will be healthy. Unnecessarily, when you gain that information, that is when you start developing diseases because of the fear. So, using your awareness, if you apply that, then you will start gathering information which are good for you. So similarly, at every step, you will be getting various tips. Start practicing them in your life. You will start feeling the difference. So what is the second step he's saying? When the mind generates thoughts towards an object without any control, the next step, he says, you develop what is called a sangaha, attachment. Teshu means attachment to them. So what is this attachment? Attachment is nothing but a thicker stream of thoughts. When your mind generates thoughts towards an object, we call it as dhyayi. That was the first step, dhyayato. But when the same thoughts become more thick, the thought stream, it gathers more strength and momentum, then we call it attachment, sangaha. Actually, sangaha again means, that has many dimensions which we'll be seeing. But what is interesting is jayate, upajayate. What jayate means, that's something which is born. So that itself indicates that it is happening on its own. See, one is for something to be born. The other is you create it. When you generate thoughts towards an object with full control and awareness, that is not called attachment. But here he says attachment jayate, sangaha jayate, means that it's born, happens on its own. The jayate, it is produced. So what is the state of attachment? Attachment is when you start missing an object or a person. That stage is called attachment. So whenever an object is there in front of you, or that person is there in front of you, you are extremely excited. First sign. And whenever that object is taken away from you, then you start missing that object. These are the two symptoms of sangaha, attachment. Whenever you are attached to anything in life that colors your vision, your inner vision, it clouds your inner clarity. Invariably, your decisions will be wrong. If a mother is attached to her daughter, then if the daughter makes some mistake which is harmful, detrimental to her, the mother will be unable to see the mistake of the daughter as a mistake. She will be unable to correct her when it is required. The same mistake another person may make, there she will be able to spot it. But her own daughter is making, the attachment will blind her. So attachment is very, very deadly. Uncontrolled, thick stream of thoughts towards an object or towards a person is very deadly, because that clouds your clarity, it clouds your understanding, your inner perception. The more your attachment, the less will be your clarity. And the mind has this tendency to get attached to everything and everyone. There was a couple who came to me for advice. So they had fallen in love with each other, and they were seeing each other for almost 2-3 years, and then they got married. The parents initially didn't agree, and then they convinced them, and then everything went on smooth. And then after about 2 years, they came to me, and that is, they were saying, we are not at all enjoying our relationship. Already the conversation has started about separating, divorce and all that. So they said, sir, can you help? Why is it? Because 3 years we loved each other, but now actually within the first 6 months itself they said the problem started manifesting. So why is that? And the most interesting thing is what the girl also said and the boy, both of them, what they said was, we thought we understood each other very well and all that before marriage. But after marriage, I began to notice so many things in her which I had never noticed earlier. And she also began to notice so many things in me which she had never noticed earlier. So their question was why? Why is it that what we were unable to notice in 3 years, we started noticing within 6 months in each other? Then I explained to them this process of attachment. So whatever you're calling as love, I told them that was not true love, that was just attachment. If you have pure love, then you will see the positives and negatives of a person and still accept the person as he is or as she is. Whereas when you are attached, that will cloud your clarity, as a result of which you will, first of all, you will be trying to impress each other. And even if you're not trying to impress each other, you will see only what your mind wants to see. You will not see the other person as he or she is. They immediately understood. I told them this also. Just because you're understanding what I'm saying doesn't mean now you've got tremendous clarity. You're forced to understand now because your experience is like this. Imagine if I told you the same thing before marriage, would you have been able to understand? They agreed. They said, impossible, sir. So the solution I gave them was, now you start developing true love towards each other. Everyone will have some positives and some negatives. And the beauty of a relationship is in accepting the other person as he or she is. Whenever you get attached, you project your mind on the person. I am giving the example of a person because it's very easy to understand, So whenever you are attached to a person, you fail to see the realities. What starts off as a thin stream of thoughts, when they become thick, they cloud your vision completely, and thereafter you project your mind. You see what you want to see. Like there was a terrorist, and he had killed hundreds of people. What his mother told when the reporters went and asked her was that, oh, my son is very innocent. I think he would have done all this unknowingly, but killing hundreds of people unknowingly. unable to see the realities. So after he had become a terrorist and after he had done such committed gruesome crimes, in spite of that, if she is saying that, you can imagine when that boy was young, this attachment would have colored her mind, because the same tendencies that young man would have shown when he was a child also, well, aggressiveness and all that. So the mother would have failed to see that. Why? Because the attachment colors the thinking process, the clarity. So whenever you are attached, it clouds your clarity and it makes you very weak. You become very dependent on the other person or object for your happiness. When the person is there in front of you, you will still not enjoy because you will be overexcited. When the person or object is not there with you, you will be missing. Again, you will not be happy. You will not be able to focus your mind anywhere else. That is the worst thing which can happen to a human being. Because as a human being, you have so much of potential, so much of capacity, and to become dependent on something or someone outside you for your happiness is literally selling yourself. What we say in spirituality is happiness is an internal phenomenon. You have that ocean, you are the ocean of happiness. You have infinite happiness within you. You are in a position to give happiness to others. Instead of doing that, to confine and to completely shrink all your powers and get attached to something, that is deadly. That is very silly also, if you think about it. Nowhere in the Shastras are they against contacting the world. They are only saying, don't get attached to the world mentally. Don't get bound by anything. So today your happiness is dependent upon various factors which are not under your control. Like another person's behavior, how another person treats you, whether that person treats you with respect or not, that can be a big factor in your happiness. If the other person disrespects you, you may immediately lose your happiness. If you are attached to respect, name and fame, it's another facet of name and fame only. So you will have to find out what are the various things you are attached to in life. That will be a long list. Because see, when the starting itself is wrong, dhyayato, when you allowed the mind to go on its own, naturally everywhere and anywhere you will get attached. A classic example is, let's say you start watching the news channel or some program. After a while, if one day, let us say there is a power cut or something goes wrong with the TV and you are unable to watch the program time comes, your mind will become very restless. You'll have to observe your own mind. What do we mean by missing? Missing means your mind will get into a state of restlessness. So when the object is not there, you will feel restless, and when the object is there also, you will feel restless because of the fear of losing it. That we'll be seeing in the fourth step, how it further develops, the further stream of thoughts, what happens, and then the modifications what all negative emotions this can lead you to. All that we'll be seeing in detail. So this is what all the great yogis, they kept saying. Enjoy the world. The world is meant for you to enjoy. But don't bind yourself with the world. Don't be mentally attached to anything. This is the potential of a human being. As a human being, you can definitely do it. So once you become very weak with attachment, see, you're missing, and even if the object or person is there, you'll feel very restless. The fear of losing will be there. So once you become very weak, what happens is you will be unable to focus on anything else. A person who's attached to something will not be able to do his or her duties properly in life. If you're attached to your child, you will not be able to do your duties towards your child properly. Long back, there was a man who used to come for the discourses. So he told me, "Sir, I have bought a new car. So I just want to take you for a small ride. Will you accept this request?" He was having such a wonderful bhavana. And I said, "Okay, come." He had bought a Subaru, which was a very nice car. So after the lectures, I said, "Come, for 10 minutes I'm free. You take me for a ride." And I was feeling so happy for him. So we went, and he opened the door and I sat inside. And I looked there, all the seats, the plastic cover which they used to put on the seats, that was still there. And when you buy a new car, all the seats are covered with the plastic sheets, right? Everything, he had not removed any of the plastic sheets. So he asked me to sit, and I sat. Then he came and sat, and he started driving. And the plastic sheets were making so much of noise, because when you're sitting, you'll move a little bit, and that was creating a lot of noise. And I couldn't enjoy the very the cushioning effect of the seats. So then I asked him, "When did you buy the car?" He said, "Almost a month back." Then only I remembered, actually he had asked me, he had put this request more than a month back, and I was unable to find time. So he came and reminded me. Then I said, "Fine." So for 1 month, he has been driving the car with the plastic sheets on the seat. So I asked him, "Why haven't you removed those plastic sheets?" He said, "No, sir. It's a new thing. I'm afraid that the seats will get spoiled." Very, very interesting. So I said, "You stop the car." He stopped it. That first thing which you're going to do now is you're going to remove all the plastic sheets right now. He said, "Sir, why are you asking me to do this, sir? Because so much of anxiety and fear. If I remove all the plastic sheets, the seats will, they will start getting dirty." I said, "So what are you going to do? Entire lifetime you're going to drive the car with the plastic sheets on?" That attachment, I told him, if you have this attitude, it's better you sell off the car, because you will not enjoy your car at all. Every time you're driving, you will have the fear. Supposing somebody comes and scratches it, He said, yes, sir, that was another question which I wanted to ask you. Every time I take the car, there is so much of stress which I am going through. Oh, there should be no accident, there should be no scratches. This is all there in the mind. I said, if you continue like this, you will start losing your sleep over your car. The smallest damage which can happen to your car now will affect you so much. He said, I've already started losing my sleep because every now and then, he said, I've started getting dreams. In the middle of the night, sometimes I wake up as if I'm driving, somebody is coming and scratching off the car, and I just wake up and I'm sweating. I said, what nonsense is this? You are coming for the lectures? He was quite a close student, in the sense, for almost many years, I think couple of years he had been attending the session. I said, 2 years, almost 2 years you've been coming for the session, and the simple thing you have not yet learned. It is not enough if you just attend these sessions mechanically. You have to apply these points. So, what was the purpose of you buying the car? I asked him. Is it so that I can enjoy? Now, are you enjoying? Or has that car created more stress in your mind? He thought about it and he said, it has caused a lot of stress only. So right now you need to correct it. I said, do some deep breathing and just feel that you're releasing off all the attachment towards a car. It does not matter whether you have this car or not. Without a car you are more happy. Now with this car you are more stressed. What is this kind of life? So he practiced it. Actually, he was such a devoted student that the moment I said this in a strong way, he absorbed the message. Immediately he absorbed. And he closed his eyes and did the deep breathing for a few minutes. And he released all the attachment. And then he said, sir, right now I will remove the plastic. So I also got out of the car and he removed off all the plastic. And then he said, sir, please sit. He also sat. And when he removed the plastic, it was such a relief for me also, because it was a nice car and so enjoyable. The ride was so enjoyable. And you should have seen the peace, on his face. How when he was driving, how cheerfully he started driving. So this is what will happen when you are attached. Here I am giving this incident of a car. It can be any object, it can be a person also. That is why I tell couples who get a child after many, many years, I tell them, see, after a long wait, you're going to get a baby. Be careful, because chances are both of you will be extremely attached to the child. Instead of experiencing and enjoying that experience of having a baby, you will end up getting more stressed. Slightest of a baby, something happen, you will immediately lose your peace of mind. Whereas, I have seen parents, when they go in for children before their 30s, they are, their minds are not so attached. There also attachment is there, but it's lesser, because the excitement factor, their minds are diverted to many things. So the excitement factor is slightly lesser. So they are able to handle it, especially when this wisdom is given, they are able to easily practice it. So wherever there is attachment, number one, you will not have clarity. Number two, you will become very weak. Number three, you will not be able to focus and do your duties properly. And number four, you will not be able to enjoy that experience. Like the classic example is this person who bought this car. The funniest part is, his friends were envying him. They were saying, he has bought a Subaru, oh, fantastic. But he was not enjoying that car. So if you are attached to your child, others will be envying you. At this age, it's such a wonderful thing, but you will not be enjoying that experience. So whether it's a relationship with a person or whether it's you're relating to an object, attachment actually reduces all your power. It doesn't allow you to enjoy life. A classic example is, when you're driving your own car, you're so tense. Whereas when you're driving another person's car, when you're sitting and going there, another person's car, the road may be rough and all that, but it will not affect you. You will enjoy the ride. If it's your own car, every bump will give you a heartache. Whereas if it is some other person's car, when the bumps are there, you will say, oh, it's very nice, it's like a roller coaster, Just think about it. When it is another person's child, you will enjoy. Sometimes it happens, a guest comes to a home and the child is jumping and very naughty. The guest says, oh, what a cute child. The parents just give a cold stare at the guest. If you want, you take the child home for 1 week and see, they'll say. So the guest is enjoying the child, but the parents are unable to enjoy. Whereas when you learn this art of detachment, every experience in life becomes enjoyable to you. When you have a weakness for food, you cannot enjoy that food because your mind will be more focused on finishing it fast and eating the next, going for the next round. Whereas when you're detached, that will give you that calmness. You will register the experience fully. You will chew the food properly and you will enjoy it. So, sangaha, attachment, is deadly. That is the cause for your suffering. As the great saint Ramatirtha said, attachment spells sorrow. Buddha also said that. He said the cause for your suffering is attachment. So when these great masters said attachment causes suffering, many people have misunderstood that philosophy. They think therefore, you should not contact the world. They are only talking of the mental attachment. See, even here, he is not talking about the physical contact. Starting point itself, he says, dhyayato, mental only. The whole thing is happening at the mental level. That way, Lord Krishna was a prince. He lived a life full of wealth and pleasure, but he was totally unattached. And later on, in the 3rd chapter, he'll be giving the example of King Janaka, who was a Raja Rishi, who was a king, but very, very detached. That is what you should strive to become. Being in the world, but not touched by the world. Experiencing everything and enjoying. Going through the ups and downs of life with a very, very cheerful mind, but never ever losing your peace. So, dhyayato vishayan pumsaha, when the mind starts generating thoughts on the objects on its own, that will lead to sangaha teshu. The attachment will be produced. So the second dimension of sangaha, it will make you understand what this attachment is better. That is, the second dimension is sangaha also means union. Union means becoming one. So whenever, like even yoga also means union. It's usually used for higher purposes. Sangaha also has that same meaning. It means uniting with something, becoming one with something. So whenever you're attached to someone or something, you will unite with the person or that object mentally. That is when you lose your freedom. Whatever happens to that person will start happening to you thereafter. Supposing, let's say you're watching a cricket match and you're enjoying that match so much, but suddenly your favorite batsman, he comes and he's going to bat now. Immediately your tension will start. And if that batsman, gets beaten, the bowler bowls a superb ball and you will skip a beat here. Whatever happens to that person will start happening to you. That is the deadly effect of Sangaha. If a person goes through stress and if you are attached there, then you will take up all the stress. That is why I keep saying, no, I am not teaching how to heal others. First you learn to heal yourself. The reason is, when you have not yet conquered your mind, in the process of going and healing others, you will get attached to their sorrow. Your mind will get united with their sorrow and you will pick up their karmas and come back. That is why many healers, after a while, they start getting the same diseases of the people whom they have healed. How many healers have come to me and asked this, The reason is this only. That is why our yogis say, first you gain mastery over your mind. To the extent you have gained mastery over your mind, to that extent alone, you should get into healing others. Even people who go and do social service, I tell them, doing the Yoga Sankirtan sadhana every day is a must for you. Because when you go and do service to others, no doubt your intention is very good. But in trying to wipe out the suffering of others, when you see others suffer, if your mind is not under your control, it will develop a sangaha, attachment. It will unite itself with the sufferings of others. Then that will start disturbing your peace of mind. So the best service you can do to humanity is first become peaceful and start emanating the energy and radiations of peace and happiness. You can serve others to the extent you have gained mastery over yourself. A master is one who becomes like a banyan tree. Thousands and thousands of people will come and take shade under a banyan tree. The banyan tree is untouched. That is what you should strive and achieve. So when your thoughts start running towards an object or a person on their own, and when it develops more momentum, it becomes a thick stream of thoughts, then you start uniting yourself with the object. That is, the mind will unite you with that object or person. Then whatever happens to that person or object will start happening to you. A classic example is, supposing there is a magnet, there is an iron piece. Now when you bring them together, they get united. Thereafter, whatever happens to the magnet will happen to the iron piece. Supposing you take the magnet and you take that combination and you throw it down, it is not merely the magnet which will fall down. The iron piece also will fall down because it has got itself united or attached to the magnet. Very, very interesting. Whenever you get united to something without any control, you will lose your freedom. A classic example is right now, you're sitting on a chair and let's say you're watching this. There's nothing wrong, it's meant for you to enjoy. Now let us say when you're sitting, before you sit, somebody has come and applied some super glue on the place where you're sitting, and then you're now sitting and watching this. This is just an example, and don't check. Because sometimes, even when I give imagined examples, people, become so serious about it. So let us say there is gum. Now, after will you be enjoying your sitting? And especially after you finish this, and when you get up, wherever you go, the chair will also come with you. You will not have any freedom. So when you go to a master, he says, why are you getting attached to the chair? Here we are talking of physical attachment. Immediately what people think is, oh, the master is saying we should not use the chair. No. Just sit on the, see, there is no problem. The chair is there for you to sit. You sit on the chair, you use the chair, everything is fine. But the moment you get stuck there, you get attached, you will get stuck there. Then you will lose your freedom. That is the interesting dimension. Union. If at all you have to get united, it should be with the infinite. It should be with God. There, that will release you, that will give you all the freedom. I know a girl she herself is a tennis player, and she watches all the tennis matches. She is a big fan of Roger Federer. There's nothing wrong with admiring someone, but she's so attached to him that she has lost the capacity to see a match if Federer is playing. I remember there was I think it was US Open or Wimbledon final one year where Federer and Nadal were playing the finals. And she told me that, because Federer won that match. And next time when I met her, I told her, oh, Federer has won, so how, you must have felt very happy. She said, yeah, I'm feeling so happy. Then, did you watch the match? She said, no. Why? She said, I was so afraid that Federer will lose. So I was unable to watch the match. And what were you doing? She was saying she was sitting in her puja room and praying for Federer. Can you imagine? Her brothers and her entire family was watching the match. They were not, they also appreciated tennis, but they were not such fans of Federer. She was the one who was a real fan of Federer. But she was unable to watch her favorite player playing the match. Whatever was happening to him there, one point if he was losing, that was affecting her so much. So she was sitting in the puja room and praying. Entire 3 hours. The match went for 3 hours or 3.5 hours. It was a 5-setter, I think so. Can you imagine? So this is what happens. Whenever you are attached to a person or an object, you will lose your freedom. So if you are attached to any sense object, thereafter you cannot live without it. That is why when you get attached to alcohol, when you get attached to drugs, it's very dangerous, because thereafter you will lose your freedom. Extreme attachment gives rise to addiction. So, dhyayato vishayan pumsah sangah teshu upajayate. You have to be very, very careful. First, start observing this, observing what is happening within you. Then, the other dimension of sangaha, it gives you a very good sadhana tip also, something which you can practice directly. The other dimension is company, association. Sangaha means company or association. So what do we mean by association here? Thought association. You know, a great thinker said, tell me your company, I'll tell you who you are. Company means he's not talking of where you're working, not that company. The people whom you move with, what kind of association you have in life. That has a tremendous influence on your behavior, in molding you. This is what the psychologists they say. So you'll have to be very careful in choosing whom you're associating with, what you're associating with, both. In the scriptures they say you should always have satsang. Sat means good. Sangha means company. Satsang means good company. When you go to a master, why do we call it a satsang? Have you ever thought about it? Because a master, he's always tuned to the infinite. So when you go and spend time with him, that becomes a good company. It has a very positive influence on your life. So sangaha as company or association, as a state, we are talking about the thought association. As a practice, sadhana tip, you can apply it at the external level and at the physical level also. So when we talk of association, at the physical level and at the external level, what are you associating yourself with? What are the kinds of books you are reading? What are the kinds of movies you're watching? What are the kinds of TV programs you're watching? Even when you watch the news, what kind of news incidents are you watching more? Negative or positive? You need to find out. What are the kinds of people whom you're moving with? That actually influences your mind. All these influence your mind. If you're constantly watching negative news incidents, now your mind will become negative. If you're constantly moving with people who are negative, who are gossiping, who are talking ill of others, who also talk negatively, slowly you'll find your mind will also become negative, because it has this weakness of sangaha, attachment. Your mind will start associating with that. You need to be very careful. In the Bhajagovindam, Adi Shankaracharya says, if you want to evolve spiritually, first thing is satsang. Satsang is not restricted to going to a master. That is a good start. But satsang means what all you're associating with in life itself, at all levels, external level, physical level, emotional level, thought level. So find out. See, it is like a catch-22 situation. They complement each other. First, your mind generates thoughts. We saw that in dhyayato. And then it gets attached. Once it gets attached, now it will start associating with whatever you're getting attached to. That object will generate further thoughts. The thoughts will generate more attachment. It's like a cycle which will keep going. Which one starts first, it does not matter. But once you get into this cycle, then it becomes very, very difficult for you to become free. So find out what are the things which are associating yourself with in life. Who are your friends? That determines your character. What are the kinds of books you're reading? What are the kinds of programs you're watching? If you're constantly watching violent programs, slowly your mind will start associating itself with violence. It will get attached. A few years back, the psychologists had done research on young children playing fighting games, and in the research they were saying that those kind of children who are all the time playing violent games, the video games, they develop this tendency of aggressiveness. So parents have to be a little watchful. See, video game is so enjoyable, especially for children. But why not, have gentle games, positive games? Why should it be about killing others? And why should it be like that? Why should there be violence there? Because whether it's happening on the screen or whether it's happening in real, as far as the mind is concerned, it's one and the same. It all depends upon the level of attachment which you develop. So relating with people is wonderful. But if those people are constantly negative, then either you should be a real yogi, a sadhak, and guide them towards positive conversations, or it's better to avoid them and relate with people who are naturally positive. It is for your own self-protection. So when your associations in life, what kind of food are you eating? When we go, one of the later chapters, he'll be saying certain kinds of foods actually promote health, vigor, peace also. Certain kinds of foods actually gets you very restless, he says. Very interesting. What kind of food you're eating, what kind of company you're keeping, all that you need to find out. This is a direct sadhana tip which we can get. So if you're feeling very stressed today, find out what is your company. This has been so beautifully explained, in the play called Othello by William Shakespeare. Othello, he married Desdemona, who was a very virtuous lady. But what happened is, Othello's friend Iago, he poisoned his mind against his own wife. Why? Because he felt Othello had done injustice to him. He was supposed to be promoted, but Othello didn't promote him. Instead, he brought a rank outsider. So slowly, Iago poisoned Othello's mind that she was having an affair with a person who had been appointed. To such an extent where finally Othello went and actually strangled his wife. He killed Desdemona. You should, when you read it, it's amazing how step by step he poisons Othello's mind. He makes him connect unconnected things and, proves to him that she is being unfaithful. Actually, she was one of the most virtuous characters whom William Shakespeare has portrayed. In the Mahabharata, the character of Karna is a classic example of this. Karna was basically a virtuous person. But because of his sheer association with Duryodhana, he also became unrighteous. He insulted Draupadi. He did several unrighteous actions. He went behind Abhimanyu and broke his bow. Abhimanyu was just a 16-year-old boy. And why I am saying that is very unrighteous is because at that point of time, Karna knew that Arjuna was his brother. And Abhimanyu was Arjuna's son, dear son, But he broke his bow and 6 people, they all killed Abhimanyu unrighteously. Karna was the main person there. Why? Why did he commit such unrighteous acts in spite of being basically a noble person? Because of his wrong company, association with Duryodhana. So, this is the meaning of Sangaha, the 3 dimensions. One is attachment, other is union, and the third is company or association. So, whenever there is the thought flow which is not controlled, he says, Upajayate, attachment is born, is produced. It happens on its own because you are not having any awareness. It's very interesting. He uses the word upajayate. Upa itself means proximity or association. So it is very apt when he uses the word sangaha. Most interesting is at every stage he will be using the same word jayate, but the prefix will be different. Here he says upajayate. When it comes to the next step, he is saying sanjayate, samjayate. And then the next further deterioration, he says abhijayate. Jayate means produced, but different prefixes he uses according to the context. When we study all those steps, I will get to that and I will just make a comparison. It's very, very interesting. So, upajayate, upa means association, proximity, rightly suited for this word sangaha, because sangaha also means association. So, dhyayato vishayan pumsaha sangaha teshu upajayate. You develop attachment. This is step number 2. So, when in the first step you can control it easily, in the second step it becomes little more difficult. You need to do more sadhana. When it goes to the third step, more difficult. Fourth step, like this, is going to go into many steps. Now you may wonder, now which step am I in? In different areas of life you will be in different stages. Certain areas you will just be in the stage of dhyayato. Certain areas you will be in the stage of sangaha. And then whatever is going to give, we'll be seeing the coming weeks. These 2 verses actually they give you a complete picture of what is happening within you. It's very simple. After studying these verses, the swadhyaya, studying yourself, will become so simple. Okay, so we'll stop with this today. Even though it is just one word sangaha, we've gone into real depth, and many sadhana tips also have been given. So you should reflect on them, absorb them. Without absorption, just rushing through and going to the next steps is of no use. The whole idea is, as we study these verses and as you begin to absorb and practice, you should become a different person for the better. You should change for the better. Every Sunday, when you hear the seed, is a conscious decision you've made. That is also, I would say, practice of Sangha, you've started practicing it. This is satsang for you. So many other wrong forms of attachments you'll be having. You'll be associating with so many other wrong things, means things which are harmful to you. Now this one decision you have taken of watching every Sunday, this will offset hundreds and thousands of attachments which you may be having. And then further, if you choose to associate yourself with Yoga Sankirtan on a daily basis, that will form a tremendous protective layer. So Sangaha, when it happens on its own, it's dangerous. But if you choose as a human being, again, Pumsaha, every step, this Pumsaha is the key, You as a human being, you have the choice. No doubt the mind will get attached. But use the same attachment. Use your choice to get attached to good things consciously. Satsang. That is the sadhana for this week. And when I say this week, doesn't mean now, after 1 week now, no sadhana of satsang. It's not that. This is the sadhana which you need to which you need to practice. The starting point is this week. But rest of your life, you need to practice all this. So Sangaha is negative. But the same thing when you do it consciously, then it becomes satsang. Because consciously you will never choose something negative, something which is harmful. Okay, so reflect on these points and practice. We will go into more depth next week. I will answer a few questions relevant to these things, and also one or two general questions, and then we will do the meditation. The first question is Chandrasekhar Kalaivani Ashok. This person has asked. This has been posted in the YouTube comment section. So Hari Om Yogishri, thank you for that insightful explanation on the workings of the mind. The three functions of the mind, namely exploratory, casual generation of thought to compensate boredom, and recall, can be used to evolve when done with awareness and used to devolve when done without awareness, is the take-home message today. Wonderful. So these aspects of the mind which were revealed has given me great clarity and confidence to attempt mastery of the mind, given the fact that it is the most challenging of all feats. Challenging, but that's where Pumsaha comes. Being a human being, it's definitely possible. So, thank you so much. I have a question, Yogishri. You mentioned that if we consciously choose something with awareness, even if it's the wrong thing, one may evolve. Today we hear a lot about satanic worship, satanic rituals, etc. being practiced. These followers consciously choose this, and what will be the consequences in this respect? Please throw some light on this if you think it is relevant and necessary. Thank you, Guruji. Of course, this is very, very relevant and necessary. First of all, what I want to say is not only you who has asked this question, but all others. I've been reading the comments. What I found is those who have sincerely started applying himself or herself, what I found is initially when you were capturing the points, you were doing it in a haphazard way. But as a few weeks have passed, all of you have started becoming very specific, more clarity you have developed. The presentation itself is so wonderful, which means this sadhana which you have sincerely practiced. See, whenever a guru gives a practice, that sincerity should be there to practice it. When he says do this, you should do it. Then the guru is also inspired to teach more. So all of you who has been, reflecting and putting those points in the comment section, I can see a distinct change in their personality. That energy I am able to feel. So continue with that. You will find that this small practice will help you to solve many complex problems in life, because you are developing a sense of orderliness in terms of presentation. More grace has come in everyone's presentation, including just now, when you say this is my take home message, you're pinpointing and saying that. It is really fantastic, So when the question which you've asked is about people who choose negative things like worship of Satan and all that. See, why I'm saying if you do something consciously, even if it's negative, it's okay, you will evolve. I don't mean to encourage choosing negative. What I meant was, if you do something mechanically, chances of evolution is not there. Whereas consciously when you choose something, even if you make a mistake, it is a question of time, because you are aware. At some point of time you will change. So people who choose negative things like some Satan rituals and all that you're saying, now they will continue they will not be able to continue in that for a while, because that will start giving them a lot of stress. So at some point of time they will start thinking, whatever I am doing, is this right or wrong? But usually what I find is people who choose negative things, it's because they don't have awareness. They don't consciously do it. If they know that it's dangerous, why would they do it? It's because they don't see the danger embedded there in that ritual or whatever it is that they're doing. They see only the immediate benefit or something which it gives, which it offers them. Therefore they get into it. That itself is, I would say, lack of awareness only. So the day they develop awareness, they will start changing. That is what happened to Ravana. Throughout his life, he was negative. But when he fought with Rama, and when Rama defeated him, and he said, Ravana, I will give you one night. Go and think about it. Tomorrow, if you are willing to say, admit your mistake and apologize and give back Sita, I will leave you. I will not kill you. That night, Ravana, his awareness increased. The moment his awareness increased, the whole night he sat and cried. A pratiprasav happened. He released so many negativities. Then Mandodari, his wife, asked him, so then are you going to fight tomorrow? He said yes. Why? Because now you have realized your mistake. Your awareness is increased. He said, no, I have done a lot of sins. I took away his wife by force. I think the right end is he should defeat me, he should kill me, then I will attain moksha. Why I am giving you this example from Ramayana is that the moment that awareness was there, he was unable to choose the wrong thing thereafter. So as long as the awareness is not there, you will choose the wrong. So what I meant by saying that even if you choose the wrong thing, if your awareness is there, sometimes you may make mistakes in facts. Therefore you may choose a negative thing. Still you are protected because awareness is very strong. So it's only a question of time. When you get the full facts, you will immediately change. So I would say don't focus on the people who are choosing, who are Satan worship and all that. Again, practice a sangaha. Avoid reading those kind of news and all that. See, you're doing the Yoga Sankirtan Sadhana. Of course, I don't mean you personally. This is a message for everyone. So this is the highest wisdom, highest sadhana is being given to you. So you will be protected from any other evil influences. Okay. Then Hitanshi Midda, she has actually sent a couple of mails, out of which I'm just reading her experience which she has given. The question which she has asked I'll answer later. So this she sent actually some time back, and I didn't get time to read it. This will be very inspiring to others. She is a young girl. So Namaste Yogishri, I started a small business of selling hair oils which I make at home. She is around 18 or 19 only. So I just wanted to share something that happened with me. So yesterday in my sadhana, after the CD finished, I just visualized that I wanted to sell 6 bottles of oil this week. I don't know how, but last night itself I got a confirmation for exactly 6 bottles of oil. These orders were pending and they got finalized. Thank you, Yogishri, for all the guidance. Thank you. I am reading this message because it will infuse confidence in others also. If you do your sadhana properly, if your intention is pure, you will get positive results in life. If it can happen to this girl, why not to others? So don't worry about corona, don't worry about lockdowns, all this let it be there. But you be focused. See, you got connected with your guru, with all the, and through your guru to the infinite. You got connected, a sangaha, you started associating with this higher wisdom. You got connected to the Yoga Sankirtan sadhana. Now just put your blinkers on and focus on the sadhana and do your duties in life. There may be some hiccups, some challenges may come, but all those will get resolved and your life will turn for the better. Okay? One more question is also there. Anushka ji has asked about the preparatory meditations. That I'll answer after the meditation is over. So sit straight and gently close your eyes. Do deep breathing. With every breath, I'm going deeper and deeper into myself. I awaken the sense of awareness within me. From this moment onwards, I choose to be aware of all my actions, thoughts, and decisions. The mind has this tendency to develop sangaha, attachment. I choose to use this tendency for good purposes. From this moment onwards, I choose to associate myself with the various things in life which are good for me. From this moment onwards, I choose to associate myself with those people who are very positive. I choose to get attached to the infinite reality present within me. I am one with the infinite. From this moment onwards, I choose to do my sadhana daily and become united with the infinite divine power. Offer your gratitude to God Supreme. Offer your gratitude to your Guru and all the holy masters. Slowly come back, wriggle your fingers and toes, rub your palms together to create a warmth, cup your eyes with your palms, gently rub your eyes, your cheeks, forehead, top of the head, back of the head and neck. And slowly open your eyes. Welcome back. So we had a very important session today because we were going to the core of the matter, that is Sangha, attachment, which is a deadly weakness of the mind. And during the meditation process, I have installed the concept of using this attachment for your good. That is, consciously getting attached with good things in life. And of course, the best form of attachment is getting attached to the infinite. So as we go deeper and deeper, it will be very, very interesting for you, very useful for you also. So I also wanted to answer the question which Anushka ji has asked. She has put it in the comment section of the YouTube. So Hari Om Yogishri. It is about the preparatory meditation. That is the 2 preparatory meditations which I have sent to all the registered participants for the 22-day program. I'll be sending more material also as and when I get the instructions in my meditation. So I'm sure all of you have started doing that, one in the morning and one in the evening. See, remember one thing, don't be bothered about the instructions which are being given. The energy which has been infused in that is meant to be a preparation for you. It will prepare you thoroughly for the empowerment program which we are going to have. So she's referring to that. So I did the morning dhyan immediately after the Yoga Sankirtan meditation. So should we give a gap or is it fine to do continuously? It will be very peaceful in the dawn, so I thought I shall experience it then itself. It was indeed very powerful. Some untold joy for no reason has creeped into my soul and feeling very high. Likewise, I did the evening meditation at 8:45 p.m. and went off to sleep at 9 p.m. I should say it was a very, very, very peaceful sleep after a long, long time. Thank you so much and very grateful to you for these blissful and unique experiences. So, yes, these preparatory meditations, one in the morning and one in the evening, are meant to infuse that energy deep within you. It's just for about 7-8 minutes time-wise, but it will be very intense. So the morning meditation, I mean, you're saying when you did it after the Yoga Sankirtan Sadhana, it was fine. So you just decide based on how you feel there, because Yoga Sankirtan I thought was quite long, especially Mahashivadhyana, almost 1 hour. If you are able to do that, this one after that, it's fine only. As long as you should not feel, you don't feel heavy. But this is anyway for just about 7-8 minutes, so you will not feel heavy. The other option is you can do it, that is before Yoga Sankirtan also. You try out, whichever suits you, you can do. See, the morning preparatory meditation, it's meant to energize you. So that way, doing it after Yoga Sankirtan meditation will be beneficial. It's a Surya Shakti which has been infused, and I want you to get prepared by receiving the Surya Prana. Even though I have not mentioned all that in the meditation, during the meditation instructions, but that is what it is. And the evening, the Chandra Shakti has been infused for you to relax and have a nice sleep in the night. So before going to bed also is fine, assuming you have not overeaten. Or you can do it during dusk as the sun is setting and when the moon is coming out. You can do at that time also. It will prepare you to have a very relaxed sleep later on. So suit your convenience. There are no big rules for these preparatory meditations. Just ensure that your stomach is not too full. Then you may not be able to focus. That's the whole idea. And soon I'll be sending you some other instructions also. So you will be getting those and you can start practicing them. Okay? And the reason why you're finding those meditations so powerful is because, as I told you, the energy which has been infused is very high. If this itself you're saying the experience is wonderful, 22-day program is going to take you to a different level. This time I'm going to blast you, literally blast you with the higher energy. Each and every cell of your body, it will be like an atom bomb being thrown at you. I'm telling you, because when I got the list of people who have registered, and because I'm giving healings every day to everyone, those who have registered, I suddenly found that many of the people, you all attended programs earlier, but now your level has become more. When I scanned and saw your energies, you've genuinely grown spiritually. So when you grow, naturally what I have to give will also have to become more intense. So the 22-day program is going to be very, very intense. It's going to be a great blessing to all of you. So this will prepare you very well, these preparatory meditations. If required, only if required, whatever I get in the meditation, I will implement. So if required, I may, after a while, I may remove these meditations and put new ones also, or I may add a few more things. So all that we will see as we go along. Okay? So thank you very much. We will meet next week. Thank you.